Hi there, just a minute. I'm just getting a text. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. There's another one. Just give me a sec. Okay. I assume since you're watching this, you have access to a phone, a smartphone, or a tablet, or a computer. Maybe you've got more than one phone, one for work, one for home. Maybe you've got one for your secret identity as well. And if you've got these various machines, which I'm sure you do, how many of them have alerts or notifications on them? How many of them tell you again and again that you've got a new text, a new email, a new invitation to a group chat, a new picture of the perfect framed flat white, or maybe the latest Joe Wicks video is live streaming in 5 minutes and you need to get ready. If you've got these kinds of machines, maybe you appreciate, like me, silent mode, or do not disturb, or airplane mode, or even better, sometimes just turning it off. Sometimes most of us would appreciate the chance to pause things, to press the pause button. I don't want to stop playing games. I don't want to stop learning. I don't want to stop teaching. I don't want to stop working. I don't want to stop looking after the people around me. But I do sometimes want to catch my breath. I'm fascinated that some of the really great research done about stress is telling us that stress isn't something that breaks us down or burns us out by coming in a huge pile all at once. But rather, what causes burnout, breakdown, is constant, unrelenting stress, or even a low-level stress that seems to have no end. And stress can come in positive and in negative ways. It seems that we are built to need a rest. The book that we love coming together to talk about here at the West Church is called the Bible. It's a collection of stories, hundreds of stories, but in those, I keep arguing there is a big story, a family story, a love story, a promise story. Right at the heart is the story of a young Jewish rabbi called Jesus of Nazareth. And his story is, in a huge part, the story of a tribe, a nation, a family of people known as the Jews or the Israelites or the Hebrews. Part of their story is when they were rescued from slavery in Egypt. And they then traveled to a place called Sinai, to a mountain. And there their God talked to them, spoke through a man called Moses, and gave them a new way to be. In that collection of ways, of revelations from God, is a book called Leviticus. And Leviticus is a book about connecting with God. In Leviticus, in chapter 23 in particular, there are a set of what's known as feasts or festivals or sacred assemblies set out for the Israelite people. They're called sacred assemblies because for all of them, the people had to come together. Families, nation, in fact, would pause together. These sacred assemblies each involved interrupting daily life. The first of these sacred assemblies or feasts or festivals is known as the Sabbath. And it's first on the list for a very good reason. It was seen as the most important. In another set of stories known as Genesis, the poem, one of the poems right at the beginning, talks about how God made his creation and put it together And he did that in 6 days in the poem, and then he rested on the seventh. The Hebrew is literally hinafesh. He caught his breath. It seems that this is baked into the fabric of creation, that there needs to be a day and various times throughout the year of rest, connected to the seasons, connected to the harvests, and all built around this number 7. 7th month, 7th year, 7th day. A day for the Israelites to remember that they're not slaves any longer, that they don't have to work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, for masters who are giving them nothing back. Instead, it's a day to pause and remember that God is God, and they are not, and that's okay, that their worth and their value doesn't come from rewards. Sabbath is so important that later in the stories we're told it's not an invitation, it's a command. And we're told it was so important that if they didn't observe it, they would die. Now, not because God is going to punish them for not obeying a law, but because this is part of human life and the way the world works. It was a major interruption to daily living, to the daily grind, coming every 6 days or every 6 years and through the seasons of the year. A chance, a command to pause and remember who they were, what they were made to be, and who actually was giving them their daily bread. The God who put everything together, who made them to love him, to love the people around about him, and to be part of his creation project. I need a pause button regularly to remind me who I am, that I don't need to be a slave, that God is God and I am not, and that's okay. That the God of Jesus of Nazareth, the God of the Israelites, the God of creation, the God who is at the heart of who I am, is a God who remembers, who cares, who provides, who is with his people and wants them to have the life he made them for. I need to remember that God made me to love him, to love my brothers and sisters, to come together in these sacred assemblies, and to remind myself to take a breath. Let's all pause together.